outfield depth is important. It's going to be really important in this camp because 6 of you are going to be gone to the WBC. So it's a little strange, isn't it? Like, you've been through this personally, but you guys will be here for a week, 10 days of games. Then you won't really be together probably as a unit till those last few days of spring training.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy when I think about it, like who's going to be left for Huddy to pick on, you know. We're not going to be there, so we're actually going to get a little break from Huddy. So, but
KC the whole time.
KC the whole time, you know. He's going to be grinding with Huddy, but yeah, it's going to be crazy to see playing against those guys on the other side of the field if I get a chance to play against them.
Back here on the chat, thanks for tapping in with us. Jemai Webster, Joe Murray, Lucy Burge with us, and Jarren Duran going to be one of 15 Red Sox playing in the WBC, which is crazy. I think we can welcome in our buddy at this particular time. Am I correct on that? My man, Red Sox baseball analyst Lou Merloni. And Lou, that was a great conversation that you guys had with Jarren, but 15 players on the Red Sox going to the World Baseball Classic. How much disruption does that create in camp, considering this team is trying to come together and do some special things this year?
Yeah, it is. Especially, you know, I think there's like 7 guys on teams that like probably get to the Final Four. They're going to leave March 1st, and if you get to the semifinals or finals, you come back March 17th. We probably break camp on the 23rd. So this is going to be their spring training. For the guys, position players, you hope they get their at-bats. You hope they get their work in. For the arms, you just sort of hold your breath, right? Because the intensity picks up. But a lot of guys representing, and that's what Garrett Crochet kind of turning it down.
Wow.
When it comes to Roman Anthony playing for Team USA, we had been talking about that and talking about kind of debating whether or not it's a good thing because Joe is worried that he's going to get hurt. He'd rather see him win games for the Red Sox. Where do you fall on that? Is this a good thing? And how disappointed are you that he's not playing for Team Italy? He's playing for the U.S.
Yeah, I got on him on that. Apparently, Team Italy didn't offer him enough NIL money. So I don't know what happened there. But no, I think it's a good thing for him. Confidence-wise, just kind of like putting in perspective where he is in the game and guys he's playing with. The injury part of it. The only part of it is that, you know, down here, you swing the bat, you get a base hit. You kind of, you know, you run early in camp, but you're not going to run like you are when you represent the country or in this tournament where everything sort of matters. So the intensity picks up. So injury front, I'm not so worried about position players. They could tweak a hamstring or a groin here in camp. It's just the arms that kind of, you come out here, again, like I said, low intensity, throw an inning, give up 2 or 3 runs. Who cares? You know, you're going all out right out of the chute at the WBC. The intensity picks up.
Lou, you had a chance to sit with Sam Kennedy yesterday after sitting with the reporters the day before. Did he get to clear the air? He kind of mentioned the past, Bregman, et cetera. Do you feel like the team has moved past that? And what else did you get from Sam Kennedy sitting with him yesterday?
Yeah, I think the team has. Kind of, you know, everybody has to address it, right? No Bregman here this year. And you know, what's that going to be like? Leadership void. I felt like yesterday when we talked to him, you know, he made that comment that Bregman's not here because it's basically up to him. We just reiterated, I was just talking to him about how the narrative out there, it's nothing to do with Bregman. It has everything to do with you and whether that's coming from one side or not, whether it's a no trade deferral schedule. But I thought he handled it well, and that just kind of putting in the past. You know, I thought that was kind of like the easier answer, right? Like, just, I'm worried about the people that are here. You know, we tried to bring them back. We didn't bring them back, so be it. So I think people are excited here when you see the pitchers that they're able to roll out, you know, and you see the defense that's being shown out in the infield dirt compared to maybe years past. So it's, I think spirits are pretty high right now because they know they got the arms and the defense.
Yeah, so defense and pitching, something that has been bolstered for the Red Sox going into this offseason. But I'm curious, Lou, what excites you about this group so far? They had their first full squad workout on Sunday, and now you had a chance to see a little bit more. What excites you about this group?
There's no question you start with the arms, you know, the quality that's there. And not just in the starting 5. You got a couple guys, too, that are throwing the ball well, competing for spots. And then you got young kids and Tolley, who looks fantastic and early. So there's just a lot of depth there, you know. So I do think offensively, I think we're making more out of maybe the lack of power and who these guys can be offensively. You know, where they ranked last year, they were still third in the American League in runs. They only had Rafi Devers for 6 weeks because he was awful the first 3 in April. And they only had Alex Bregman for about 7 because once he got hurt, he wasn't the same. And they still scored 3rd most runs in the American League, 7th in all of baseball. So Abreu looks fantastic. Roman Anthony is the stud, and we'll see where it goes from there.
Best shape of your life season, man.
There you go. Are you part of the club, Lou? Have you joined the Best Shape of Your Life club?
I'm in pretty good post-career shape, but I'm definitely not going to tell you I'm in the best shape of my career. A lot better when I was wearing that uniform, but I'm feeling okay. A lot of steps this week.
Weekly check-in with how Lou is feeling, I think, is very important in this. When it comes to Alex Bregman and the absence now of Alex Bregman and the leadership that he had on this team, Trevor Story said that he will be someone who steps up in that role, that Chapman, that Duran will be other players who step up in that role. Do you see those being the guys who do that, or are there any other guys that might step up in a leadership role for this team?
Yeah, I do think Trevor's in a better place. I think last year was really kind of all about him. You know, there was a little bit of selfishness just because it was, and I think as he played every day, he became more of that leader. But it was a rough 3 weeks. He had to get his house in order, right? Like he had to go out there and play baseball and make sure he can get on the field, which he did. And you saw that leadership grow. This year he comes in with that behind him, I think fully ready to take that role. Duran is another guy, like he mentioned, taking the role of the part-time player with a voice and experience is going to be IKF, you know, kind of Falefa. That guy's been around. He's been known to be that type of player. He's been praised for that up in Toronto. And then you still got some kids. You know, I think Contreras will help in that category. And even though it's year 2, Carlos Narvaez is a leader, and he's a leader behind the plate, and he showed that last year.
Well, you mentioned first base with Contreras. All I've heard, Lou, is Triston Casas has looked good. Can you give us what are you seeing from him? And could he be on the first 26? What's his timeline to potentially make a contribution for the Red Sox this year?
Yeah, you know, first off, I think he looks good. Like physically, kind of, he's still like a young kid, kind of his body. I think he looks good physically from what I've seen of him in the past 2 or 3 years. But I think the timeline will allow them to sort of say, hey, listen, you haven't really played baseball in a year and a half. You've missed a ton of time. We're going to go on to AAA. And whether that is a rehab because he's so-called not ready, whether that's optioned, whatever it may be, go down there, find a rhythm that you've lost the last couple of years offensively. Continue to work defensively, but really the bat. And at some point, if you've got an outfielder DHing, you got an outfielder go down, that DH slides into an everyday role. You're looking for that role, DH/first base. This is where Triston comes in this year, and I think he can help you. You know, I think this is a guy that when he does get in the lineup, can hit you 5-6 homers a month, right? Like we've seen that from him. It could be pop that is needed. So you slow roll him a little bit until you need him, and allow him to get into a groove down at AAA because of the missed time.
It's nice to see that his personality hasn't changed either. Have you actually seen his face outside of that hood thing that he's wearing, this contraption over his head, Lou?
I walked in today, it was photo day, right? So he wasn't wearing the mask. So when I saw him in uni, I was like, hey, it's good to see your face. I haven't seen it all week long. So, yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. You know, Triston, you know, he's just, I don't know, trying to protect his face. I use sunblock, but that's okay.
Yeah, so Lou, I was going to ask you about this because Bradfo was reporting that when he asked him why he's wearing that, he said because it's freezing outside. Is this, like, what is this? What is he, I mean, yes, this is Triston Casas, so who knows? But is he prepared? My first thought was he's preparing for, like, springtime in Boston, which is chilly. Like, what is behind this? Is it just, like, sun protection, or is it just him?
I think he told someone else that he gets the sunburn when he hits. So, you know, I don't know. You know, you learn to speak Triston, right? So it's just something that he's doing that's a little bit different. And you just sit there and you watch him hit with the mask on, and he hits line drives and home runs, and you say, that a boy. That's it.
You guys were talking to Jaron, and he mentioned that because of the amount of players that are going to be heading to the World Baseball Classic, that Christian Campbell is going to be left behind with Kyle Hudson. How is KC looking at this point in spring training? I know he's getting a lot of work in the outfield.
Yeah, and he'll get a lot of work with those guys being absent, but his swing looks really good. There was some adjustments. There was just too much movement that got exposed last year. He really simplified it without kind of losing any pop, to be honest with you. So it's been impressive watching him swing. We'll see how that swing translates in games. For him, it's he's another guy that's, we probably down in AAA if everybody is healthy, and learning how to play left field and learning a defensive position where he can be at league average, right? And I think that can be left field. Where it goes from there, given this roster and how deep they are, we'll see. But right now, I think this year is really about Christian kind of going down, finding that stroke again, and being the bat, which I think he will be the bat that they think he is.
Hey, Lou, when I look at the bullpen, I'm wondering who the lefties are. I know it means something, okay? Here we are on, what is it? We're literally on February 17th, and I need to know who the lefty is out of the bullpen. I know they traded for Matz last year. He's moved on. Who are some of the lefty candidates that could be coming out of the bullpen this year?
That's a really good question. Giovanni Moran is a guy that they still really like, that I think they love the changeup, but he hasn't had a ton of experience. Right? He's not like a Wilson kind of out of the bullpen. They've got some young arms that they've traded for, a lefty, Samaniego, that they have. And forgive me if I'm pronouncing it wrong, but we're getting to know him a little bit more. Mm-hmm. To be honest with you, Joe, everybody keep talking about go get a lefty, go get a lefty. I just want a good pitcher. I'm not going to just sign a lefty that's going to have a 6 ERA just because I need a lefty in the bullpen. So Weissert was pretty good against lefties. They feel good about Kelly against lefties. And, of course, Slayton, Whitlock, Chapman. I think you could see, if everybody is healthy, I think you could see Cutter Crawford in a really big role out in that bullpen if he's not in the rotation. I don't think Sandoval makes that transition to a pen, but I guess you never know, depending on how the arms play out here. So bullpen's going to be key. If you're going to be winning games 4-1, 4-2, Whitlock, Chapman cannot throw every single night. They just can't. So others are going to have to step up.
So this team was projected to have no players have 20 home runs. Are there any players that you see, how many and who could hit 20 home runs on this team?
Yeah, I don't understand that. I don't know if people are planning on the players going on strike or everybody just playing 95, 100 games this year. But Trevor Story hit 26 last year. Yeah. Roman Anthony, if he doesn't hit 20, then because he's only played 100 games. William Abreu is going to touch 30, and Contreras has always hit 20 to 24 in his career. So I have no idea where those projections came from. But those four guys, to me, seem kind of, I'd take the over in a heartbeat. Speaking of that, Joe Murray, but I'm just saying, like, it's, I don't know why you only think they're going to hit 18. So nobody's going to hit to what they've done in the past. It kind of makes no sense to me.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it certainly doesn't, because you think about where Willier was before he got injured last year. He almost had 20 in the first half, or he might have even had 20, if I'm correct on that. And he was looking at, you're like, oh, maybe he hits 40 this year. That's probably a little aggressive, but I think 20 is an easy number for him. Cedon's always flirting with it as well, and Trevor's going to do it just as you mentioned. But speaking of projections there, Lou, I know you guys are familiar with the Picada. You guys all familiar with the Picada, the player?
Of course.
Empirical comparison and optimization test algorithm?
Yep.
Well, we just put that to the test. And we talked about, by the way, which it has the AL East being won by the Yankees, just a hair over the Blue Jays going into this year. Both those teams won 94 games last year. Obviously, Toronto made it all the way to the World Series, one game from being able to win their first since Mr. Carter went back-to-back, helping them get that title in 92, whatever year it was. But the Red Sox, I feel like, are going to be a few wins better than they were last year, winning 89. So I'm picking them to win 91. We'll see how it goes. I feel like it's a good number to go to. Lucy picked them to go 162-0.
Did. Lou, would you agree?
And Joe feels like they're not going to make the playoffs at all. So we're all over the place, as you can see. Where do you kind of fall in line for the potential that this team can do, given the pieces, given the rotation, and given all the things that you said about them offensively being a little bit underheralded?
Yeah, projections are kind of like, I don't know. What do they really mean? Because, what's great is, like, in October, we go back and make fun of ourselves, because nobody really hits on them, because I don't know who's going to be healthy.
Right.
And I think that's really what it's all about, games played. I think 90 should be a number, 90, 91. You lose Garrett Crochet week 1. Do we still think they're going to win 91? So it's Roman Anthony gets hurt. I tell you this, like Roman Anthony, William Abreu, Trevor Story, games played are their most important stats. If those guys play their 145 to 50 plus, then you're winning ball games. You have a very deep rotation. If you lose 3 of them during the season, you don't anymore. So predictions are hard. They have the potential to win low 90s. I know the division's really difficult. Yankees didn't do anything. They got the same team. Orioles a little bit better. Blue Jays, I think, are getting overhyped, quite frankly, with what they've done. They replaced Cease for Bassett, and they lost Bichette to a guy that we're not sure what he's going to do in this league. So it's a good division. They're in the mix, but they should be in that 90-91 range.
Well, when it comes to the postseason, how far do you think this team could go? Should they make it into the playoffs? Because you had yesterday, Jaron said, like, of course we expect to win the World Series every year. Is that the mentality they have coming into this spring training? Is yes, we can make it to the World Series and win it. Is it feasible that this could be a World Series team, do you think?
Again, who's healthy at the end of the year? Where do other teams sit? It was like this year, last year, when McClanahan got hurt, Cole got hurt. Everybody started going down. There's a reason why we thought the American League was wide open, And so it was like Don Alvarez had barely even played for Houston. So it was wide open because of injuries. So do they have the potential? Sure. Yeah, they've got the rotation for it. And I think they have their offense is underrated somewhat. The goal is always for the player to win a World Series. And when you have a team that has a chance, everybody thinks you can win a World Series, regardless of what the offseason was like from the front office. So, that should be their goal. To me, it should always be your goal. One thing you need is a home playoff game. Last year it was like you never even made the playoffs. You had 3 games in New York. You never got home. Fenway fans never had a playoff game. Like that is like the next step. That's what you need. And when you get that, you got a shot.
Yeah, Lou, I was going to ask, outside of a World Series or even making the playoffs for that matter, what would be a successful season? Let's say they don't make the playoffs. Can there still be a successful season here for the Red Sox?
No. It should not be viewed as a successful season if you don't make the playoffs. And if it's because of injury, there's reasons behind it. But if people are healthy and the team doesn't make the playoffs, that'd be a huge disappointment. Successful season, you get home playoff games, which gets you whether it's top that first series or division series, ALCS, World Series. I mean, that will always be the goal, and it should be the goal. But you don't make the playoffs, that's not successful. Not anymore.
See, I'm right there with you, Lou.
Oh, he's right. I just had to ask the question, You're damn right.
we gotta bring Joe on our side a little bit more,
Well, there's still time. More moves to come.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. But, Lou, always great to catch up with you, man. Can't wait to see you in person, my friend.
All right, I'll see you soon. We'll see you guys a little later, too. All right.
All right.
Thanks, Lou.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
All right, NESN baseball analyst Lou Merloni with us, and always insightful conversation. And hopefully he's bringing you more on this side, Joe.
Yeah, listen, there's plenty of time left, guys. 86 today. Maybe they make a move. Maybe I watch a few games and moves up the ladder a little bit.
We'll check in with you every day and see if it's increased based on.
Yeah.
You're like the sports book. Your line is always moving. Literally. Day to day. It's day to day with this guy.
89.
Just waiting for that money to come in to move that line up a little bit.
Yeah, we'll see how high it gets by the end of the week, maybe.
I know.
By the time spring training games begin.
We're almost there, everybody.
Yes, we are.
I can't wait. When do they play Northeastern? Is that this week?
That's
on Friday. I don't think we can bet on that, though.
We'll see when we get there.
Oh, my goodness, man. We got to put this man on timeout for a moment. We got to take a short break. Joe's going off the rails. It's getting ridiculous. More on the chat after this. And we're tapping in with what's trending and some very interesting topics. Can't wait to dive in on this. We'll be right back.